A pleasant good morning. Welcome to another edition of the program, the Local Dailies, right on Kear Radio, FM 95.9. The Local Dailies highlights all of the papers, including the front and back pages. Thanks to all of you watching. Kindly follow us. Leave your comments. Definitely, I'm gonna read them. Good morning, wherever you're following us from. I'd like to welcome you to the Local Dailies, right on Kear Radio. My name is Princess Kamara. Shortly, we run for a break. We come back to bring you all of the papers, including the editorial, the front and back pages. Equally, talking points that affords you the opportunity to call and have a say. So quickly, let's run for this break to be back. Many thanks for rejoining. This morning, our first stop is the news, the nation's news since 1989. Volume 36, number 003, number 3, sold for $40 Liberian, April 28, 2025. Stories at the front page of the news. NPA payroll processes are not compliant with applicable laws. And you have the Auditor General, Gaswa Jackson, right here. A GSC audit report. A former NPA MD, now Riverside Senator Bill Twari. Right at the front page of the news, of the nation's news since 1989. Still at the front page, a competition Supreme Court for re-argument of Bill of Information. You have the photograph of the majority bloc speaker, Richard Namwekon, right at the front page of the news, the nation's news since 1989. Quickly, we run for the back page. The back page of the news. Liberia processes social innovation to solve global labor challenges. And you have the photograph of Liberia's Labor Minister, Councillor Cooper Craig, addressing a World Bank or global government summit in Luxembourg. Upper Virginia citizens work on fallout development plan. And you have the photograph of Upper Virginia citizens right here. Agriculture Minister participated in February a ministerial conference in Morocco. Quickly, let's bring you the editorial for the news of the nation's news since 1989. Liberia stands at a pivotal juncture in its pursuit of sustainable development. Liberia stands at a a critical juncture in its pursuit of sustainable development with the introduction of the National Agricultural Development Plan 2024-2030, named the Liberians Feed Yourself Agenda. This ambitious plan aims to transform the nation's agricultural sector, promoting food self-sufficiency and fostering indigenous wealth creation through comprehensive agricultural value chain development. For too long, Liberia has grappled with food insecurity, heavily reliant on imported goods to meet its nutritional needs. This dependency has not only strained the nation's economy, but also left it vulnerable to global market and supply chain disruptions. The Liberians Feed Yourself agenda seeks to break these chains by empowering local farmers, enhancing agricultural productivity, and building resilient food systems that can withstand external shocks. Central to this plan is the focus on food self-sufficiency by investing in modern farming techniques, improving access to quality seeds and fertilizers. That's the editorial for the news, the nation's news since 1989. And we move to our next stop this morning. In profile dating, in all that we do and write, in all that we report, come what may, no 17, a number 106, Monday, April 28, 2025. This paper is sold for $40 Liberian. Stories at the front page of the In Profile Daily newspaper. Does UP want peace? Question mark. Right on this one. Unresolved speakership crisis. You have the photograph of the president, His Excellency Joseph Newman Boakai, along with Majority Black Speaker Honorable Richard Namwekon, along with the photograph of the former Vice President of the Republic of Liberia, and Joel Howard Taylor, right here at the front page of the In Profile Daily newspaper. A court cites a Representative Kwon in divorce case. Easy. A court cites a Representative Kwon in divorce case. You have the photograph of Majority Black Speaker along with his wife, his children, right here. Still at the front page of the In Profile Daily newspaper. LLA gets tough. And you have the photograph of officials. Right here. Quickly we moved at the back page of the In Profile Daily newspaper, volume 17, number 106. Liberia cleared US $6.5 million IMO arrears. Liberia cleared US $6.5 million IMO arrears. And you have the photograph of Maritime Commissioner Nito Zazalai at the back page of the In Profile Daily newspaper. LACC conducts a nationwide anti-corruption campaign reverses. A big touch barrier for justice. A FIJA challenges. You have the photograph of the president of the Female Journalism Association of Liberia, FIJA, Madam Lisa Darcy, right here. A volunteer farmers seek GOL, that's government support, transparency. A volunteer farmers seek government support, transparency. Still at the back page of the In Profile Daily newspaper. A House of Representatives comments President Joseph Boakai. You have the photograph of Majority Bloc Speaker Richard Namwekon. LACC secures a guilty verdict in economic sabotage case. And quickly, let's run for the editorial for the In Profile Daily newspaper. Your Excellency, the embarrassment. The long-awaited Supreme Court consider opinion in the battle of Speaker Fonati Kofa's build of information on his forceful removal by the House of Representatives Majority Bloc was publicly expressed in Liberia on Wednesday, April 23, 2025. The highest court's opinion favor in battle Speaker Kofa's quest for the rule of law to prevail, thereby nullifying all actions taken for more than 6 months by the Majority Bloc's declared Speaker Richard Namwekon's leadership. In no uncertain terms, all legislative proceedings under the Council speakership are declared illegal, including the suspensions of members of Kofa's Majority Bloc and seizure of their salaries and benefits on order of Majority Bloc Speaker Kon. Until the court finally made its opinion in this landmark case public on Tuesday, we have consistently monitored developments emanating from both parties to be claims and counterclaims without any reach a common ground for sanity to prevail in the supreme interest of the constituents who give them the power of representation, oversight, and lawmaking for 6 years. The forceful removal of Kofa as our speaker under the Joseph Boakai-led administration is nothing but a replica of what Liberians witnessed during the 12th years regime of Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, when then now a governing unity party was given state power to lead Liberia in 2006 and 11. Whatever the case is, Your Excellency, Liberia needs stability, using the rule of law as a mainstay of democratic tenets, which in our mind you vow to uphold in steering the affairs of our beloved Mama Liberia. Hence, Your Excellency, the embarrassment. And that's the editorial for the In Profile Daily newspaper. In all that we do and write, in all that we report, come what may, no matter what, Liberia first. This paper is sold for $40 Liberian dollars, so you can just pay $40 and get a copy of it. And we move to our next stop. The Hot Pepper, the newspaper. We to belong, volume 8, number 11625. Volume 8, number 11625, sold for $40 Liberian. Stories at the front page of the Hot Pepper newspaper. We are orders coaches return. What is the motive? As opposition unites against Bwaka's disregard for Supreme Court's ruling, we are orders coaches return. What is the motive? We have a question mark right here with former president, a photograph, a capture at the front page of the Hot Pepper newspaper. A true commitment to the rule of law is not expressed in word but in action. Councillor Gonglo reminds President Bwakai a true commitment to rule of law is not expressed in word but in action. You have the photograph of the Liberia People's Party political leader, a councillor, Siawan Gonglo, right at the front page of the Hot Pepper newspaper. And we move at the back page of the Hot Pepper. Orange Foundation's digital schools program empowers the future. Transforming education in Liberia. Alliance of Poor Democracy and Savor Society organizations call Supreme Court to order. You have the photograph of our owner, Sianeyu, right here, along with other judges. Right at the back page of the Hot Pepper newspaper. Bongo Jide celebrates 17th anniversary. Bongo Jide celebrates 17th anniversary. Still at the back, the House of Representatives commends President Bwakai for tangible gains amid challenges. The photograph of the majority bloc speaker is right at the back page of the Hot Pepper newspaper. Let's run for the editorial of the Hot Pepper newspaper. Quickly, commending the Nima electorate for a peaceful by-election. Thanks to the people of Nima for the peaceful manner in which they turned out during the election for a candidate of their choice who will represent them in the Liberian Senate to replace the late Senator Prince Johnson. The polls, which opened early morning 8 a.m., closed minutes ago in Nima County. We cannot report if the turnout was low or high. We can only do is that after the entire process is over, the chairperson of the National Elections Commission, Madam Deviata Branlasana, announced Tuesday, April 22, 2025. She said the Nima County senatorial by-election has successfully and peacefully ended without any report of violence. The commission extended thanks to the Liberian National Police and other security agencies for the level of security provided to the process. NEC further thank the government of Liberia for providing the funding for the conduct of the by-election. To the donor community, we say thanks for their support. We also like to appreciate the coverage that the Liberian media, including various community radio stations across Nima, for the coverage of the senatorial by-election. That's the editorial for the Hot Pepper newspaper. We too belong. It's just $40 Liberian. And we move to our next stop this morning. The Heritage. The Truth is Our Guide. Volume 28, number 355-717. Sold for $40 Liberian. Stories at the front page of the Heritage. Liberia will not be held hostage. President Boakai responds to Supreme Court ruling. You have the photograph of President Joseph Boakai right at the front page of the Heritage. If coup is illegal, so is your salaries and benefits. Citizens speak out. A U.S. backs President Boakai's putsch for multi-user rate. And you have the photograph of the United States ambassador to Liberia, Mark Turner, and U.S. a senior advisor for Africa, Massad Bullock, right at the front page of the Heritage. Quickly, we moved at the back page. Coons block fights back as Boakai backs functioning choral. Coons block fights back as Boakai backs functioning quorum. You have the photograph of Majority Bloc Speaker Richard Coon and Deputy Speaker Thomas P. Fowler. Nokai launches a bold strategic retreat to fuel energy independence. Still at the back page of the Heritage. A Jati Rubber, a Salala Rubber Corporation launched first a specialized eye care facility in Maigipi County. Liberia joins aboard global putsch. Quickly, let's bring you the editorial for the Heritage newspaper. A Supreme Court strikes down Coons' illegal coup in what can only be described as a historic legal thunderblood. The Supreme Court of Liberia has dropped the gavel on one of the most brazen constitutional breaches in the nation's post-war political history by declaring a Representative Richard Coon's speakership unconstitutional and avoiding months of legislative actions. The High Court has pulled the curtain back on a power-hungry play that marked the very essence of democratic order. This isn't just a legal ruling, it's a rescue mission for Liberia's battered constitutional sword. At the center of this unprecedented crisis lies an audacious takeover executed under the pretext of majority rule, but rather with procedural and legal defeats. the court's ruling stepped in Article 33 and 49 of the 1986 Constitution made it clear a speaker can only be removed under proper constitutional circumstances. Kun's ascension and hatch, a white speaker Kun was reportedly in another room. Was an outright affair, no matter how many lawmakers raise their hands in a room. If they step aside the Constitution, their actions are null and void. Period. That's it. That's the editorial for the Heritage newspaper. Quickly, we move to the New Dawn, a truly independent, volume 15, number 065, sold for 50 Liberian dollars. The New Dawn. Stories at the front page. Comply with the Supreme Court ruling. Akumis urges Boakai. You have the photograph as well of the NC political leader Alexander Cummins. Akun demands re-argument in Kofa's Bill of Information. Slams a Supreme Court over budget. That's budget acceptance and contrary ruling. The photograph of the embattled das majority bloc speaker Kun is right here on the front page of the New Dawn newspaper. And we move out of back page. Agriculture Ministry launches a cold storage facility and model a pre-grade farm. Quickly, let's bring you the editorial for the New Dawn newspaper. A legal or political path, which way is leads for peace. Despite acknowledging the Supreme Court ruling on the leadership and pass in the House of Representatives, President Joseph Boakai says his government will seek a political resolution to the impasse. They suppose that despite the ruling from the High Court being as crystal clear as daylight, the Representative Rachel Kun is not speaker. The executive seems even more determined to remain on its current path of political maneuvering in having its way in the House of Representatives. On the other hand, the leader of the majority bloc in the House of Representatives, Richard Namwe Kun, has run to the Supreme Court, praying for re-argument of the Bill of Information from Speaker J. Funati Kofa, which is a paradox because while President Boakai is talking or pursuing a political approach than implementing the Supreme Court ruling, Representative Kun is returning to the court. Which way does the UP-led government want to proceed in this manner? We are a country governed by laws, not by mob or self-serving ambition. Those who undermine peace or violate the law or seek to disrupt national harmony will face the full force of the law and justice. President Boakai says in his address to the nation last week, a day after the ruling about the Supreme Court upholding Speaker Kofa's Bill of Information. That's the editorial for the New Dawn newspaper. A truly independent, sold for 50 Liberian dollars. And we move to our next stop, the Daily Observer, a newspaper, volume 25, number 72, sold for $40 Liberian. A Daily Observer newspaper, stories at the front page. A majority bloc threatens Supreme Court justices with impeachment. Cummings accuses Bwaka of indecisiveness in housing pass. One swift political resolution. Still at the front page of the Daily Observer newspaper. Liberia, a Trump administration supports a multi-user raid with independent operator. Liberia are vulnerable to illicit financial flows. Express says a country tax code lacks teeth to combat. And quickly, we moved at the back page of the Daily Observer newspaper. Empowering farmers. A Ministry of Agriculture, a retrapped impact. Quickly, let's bring you the editorial for the Daily Observer newspaper. A political solution to a constitutional crisis, Mr. President. And we move to our next stop. A buyer's negotiation. And our next stop is the front page Africa of volume 18, number 78. Sold for $40 Liberian. Stories at the front page of the front page Africa newspaper. A buyer's negotiation. You have the photograph of former president, current president, majority bloc speaker, Alexander Cummings. Right at the front page of the front page Africa newspaper. Quickly we run at the back page. A Cafe appoints Liberia's Tikle Wesley Jr. as media officer for under 20 AFCON in Egypt. Great. Let's bring you the editorial for the front page Africa newspaper. Liberia at a crossroad. President Bwaka must choose the route of Lord over political survivor. And in times of constitutional crisis, the measure of a leader is not found in how well they speak, but in how firmly they stand for the root of Lord. On Thursday, April 24, President Joseph Yuma Boakai had a chance to raise to that moment. He did not. The Supreme Court of Liberia, in its ruling on April 23, made a clear and fair judgment. Richard Combs' assumption of the speakership and the subsequent legislative actions were unlawful, ultra-virus beyond the bounds of the Constitution. In most functioning democracies, such a verdict from the highest court will end debate. It will serve as the final word, but not in Liberia today. Instead, President Boakai, in a national address that should have charted a path towards legal clarity and democratic stability, chose to ignore the court's ruling. He stated his administration would continue to work with the quorum that will ensure the full functioning of our government. In the Liberian political context, this is why they understood to me continued engagement with Coons faction, the same group the court has deemed This is not a merit oversight. It's a deliberate departure from constitutional responsibility. That's the editorial for the Front Page Africa newspaper. And quickly, our last stop this morning, the Liberian investigator in pursuit of truth and integrity. Stories, this paper is sold for $50 Liberian. Volume 2, a number of 48, sold for $50 Liberian. Stories at the front page of the Liberian investigator accusing, threatening the justices of the High Court. You have the photograph of Majority Blood Speaker right here. We are masters of chaos. ICO chairman Ansu Dolan cautions amid political tension. Senator Conan urges compliance with Supreme Court ruling. Quickly, let's run at the back page of the Liberian investigator. Our last stop this morning. FIFA rejects Liberia's appeal for World Cup qualifier replay. You have the photograph of the national team right here. Devantier wins Czech Republic tough fight in debut session. Well, folks, that's it. Let's run for our fast check segment right here. And when we come back, we bring you details of our talking points and affords you the opportunity to call and have a say. So quickly, let's run for our fast check segment right on the Local Dailies.
Good day and welcome to the fact checking segment. This
within a few days plunged the Republic of Liberia and the government of the Republic into chaos, the document states. Soon possibly destroyed the full faith and credit of the Republic of Liberia and foster social and political unrest. The feeling comes in the wake of the Supreme Court's April 23, 2025 ruling, which reaffirmed Speaker J. Fonati Kofa as the legitimate head of the House of Representatives. The court's judgment followed months of political chaos, during which Koon's administration bloc attempted to remove Kofa from the speakership and installed Koon in his place. In its decision, the court ruled that all legislative actions undertaken by Koon and his bloc were unconstitutional, citing Article 33 and 49 of the 1986 Constitution. The court found that plenary sessions must be presided over by the Speaker, or, in the Speaker's absence, the Deputy Speaker, and that Speaker Kofa had never done in his role or authority. Among the acts declared null and void was the passage of the 2025 national budget, in an act the court described as recklessly endangering the full faith and credit of the government. Well, folks, you listen to our talking point. Representative Rachel Koon and Alice have accused the Supreme Court illegally behavior, warning that its ruling could bring chaos or could lead the country into chaos. What do you make of it? In a petition for re-argument filed on Friday, Koon and members of the majority bloc charged the court not only, they say the court didn't err in stripping them of legislative authority, but knowingly benefited from the very budget they now declare illegal. What do you make of that statement? Do you think it's okay enough for the House of Representatives, the member of the majority bloc, would continue to function with any difference or regards to the Supreme Court's judgment? Let's hear from you. 0777 959 959 088 098 2719. What do you make of that? Representative Rachel Koon and his allies, the majority bloc, have accused the Supreme Court of undermining and being very illegal. That its ruling could lead the country into chaos. What do you make of that? Let's hear from you. In a petition for the re-argument filed on Friday, Koon and members of the majority bloc charged the court quickly. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, morning. You live your name and where you join us from?
Thank you. My name is Daniel Keller. Call you from OCB.
Okay, quickly.
Thank you for your show this morning.
Yeah.
You see, I want to tell the speaker, the majority speaker, I want to tell him thank you for that his statement. The court know that the majority speaker is not a speaker for the country or for the government. But then while they were sitting down in the office, they allowed for the president to pass the budget, and the majority then they signed the budget. Even though the majority speaker will pay no representative from that budget, from his signature, and then the Supreme Court now come out and say that Fonati Kofa is a legislative speaker, we know. But the Fonati Kofa has also listen to the court. The court tells you, we know that you the speaker, but you don't have quorum. You see me? You don't have quorum, so you will not be in Paris in the country. The country now for Fonati Kofa won. Our children are coming up. All people have children. people coming from other town, they coming in the country for them to build the country. For them to come from sound, then you resign. The last CDC get the country, I'm a CDC, and I'm for United Party, and for everybody. I believe that if we are going to be job, we are not going to, congrats President Braga. We were going to hold on to that position to say, I will not resign. Or I will not congrats Braga. So let him resign. I want to tell the speaker, the current speaker, let me tell you, thank you for that, his statement. My name is Daniel Kelly. Thank you for your show.
Okay. Representative Rachel Korn and Alice have accused the Supreme Court of illegal behavior, a warning that its ruling could pluck Liberia into chaos. Or what do you make of that? Let's hear from you. In a petition for re-argument filed on Friday, members of the majority bloc charged the court. And they say the court not only erred in stripping them of our legislative authority, but knowing the benefit that from the very budget they have now declared illegal. Let's hear from you. 0777 959 959 0880 9827 19. Do you think it's okay enough for the House of Representatives, that is, members of the majority bloc, would continue to function without any difference or regard to the Supreme Court's judgment? Let's hear from you. 0777 959 959 088 0982 719. This is the Local Dailies. It comes on every day from Mondays to Friday at 10:30 to 11:30. Let's keep the course coming. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. How are you?
I'm okay. Your name and where you join us from?
I'm Augustine calling you from a resident on 10th Street.
All right, Augustine, let's hear you.
You see, this country indeed is for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And the same, I would call it temple of justice that put the puppet, that saw the puppet into power. The same people come again saying this law is the law. Then live with the law and let the law be the law. The caller I just called say George we are 10 power to Joseph Walker peacefully. He did because it is the law, it's the constitutional law. That's what we should follow. Why if the court come out and say they should be? This is the law. Let go by the law. And then you say, because they receive benefit from the budget, it is their right. So we're not keep proceeding illegally. Let the right one be placed. Let's do the right things. They said, Fanati don't have a quorum. Why they can't go on the gamut of Fanati and voting out? And the law be the law. They should go and sit on a Fanati and raise up their hand and vote against him and let the quorum be mentioned in the parliament. Not to be outside and say because we have a quorum, we will not work with them. And the executive to backing them that will work with the quorum. The quorum is an illegal quorum. Work with the quorum that is legal, not the illegal quorum. Let's do the right thing and let the law be the law. The court gave the judgment, and we satisfied with it. If you want to remove Fanati, go on his gamble and vote him out. Fanati said it. He said, if you come and vote me out immediately, I will step down. But we not keep telling Fanati, say, resign. No, let proceeding be set. Let the law be the law. The law that governs us, let's live by it. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. The Lord is the Lord. Let's hear from you. 0777 959 959 088 0982 719. What do you make of it? Representative Rachel Korn and Ali have accused the Supreme Court of illegal behavior, a warning that it's a ruling could pluck Liberia into chaos. Let's hear from you. In a petition for re-argument, 5 Friday, Kwe members of the majority bloc charged the court not only heard in stripping them of legislative authority, but knowing they benefited from the very budget they have now declared illegal. What do you make of that statement? Do you think it's okay enough for the House of Representatives, that's the member of the majority bloc, to continue or function without any difference or regard to the Supreme Court's judgment? Let's hear from you. I'll still have a few more, just smaller time, so we can see whether we can take few calls. Let's hear from you. 0777-959-959. This is the Local Dailies. It comes on every day, Mondays to Friday, 10:30 to 11:30. Highlighting all of the papers, including the front and back pages. Good morning.
Good morning, my sister.
Yeah, morning. Let's hear your name and where you join us from.
My name is Alexander Gibson. I call from Cheese Factory.
Okay, Alex, let's hear you.
Yeah, I listen to the talking points. But let me let you know that, look, the majority of black, they will not ram their country into problem. On a very serious note. My sister, let me tell you, some of us, we are striving, we have our late investment, our children, we put it in school, the things are different from the other, we try. But when people that we elected, we see that they are going to do things on the contrary, they are just respecting the law. Then I think the Liberian people have to stand up to this very seriously. The higher court of the land can rule. And then including the president who is the first architect of our law, who sort of protect, who took oath to defend the Constitution on that day of inauguration. There is a learning with those people, and they are very respecting the higher court of the land. The races as one of the very serious people. Somehow we are calling on them. We are calling on them. We were accused to do the right thing. Let the law be the law. Because if anything starts in the country, everybody will suffer. We are begging them.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Let's see whether we can squeeze in probably 3 more calls. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, your name.
Kear,
Yeah, your name and where you join us from.
this is Leonard from the Bushra Island.
Okay, quickly, let's hear you.
Yeah, I don't know what people they want to bend the law. The law is the law. Even before the ruling, the court keep reminding the proposed speaker that what you're doing, it is unconstitutional. Stop it. Now that the court have come up with a final ruling, why you get the court order? Why you can't go by the law? So I don't know why the president doesn't want to obey the court order. Very court yesterday that they were running to, that the court order is now obeying. See why the illegal speaker is doing. He rejected the court ruling. Now he's going back for re-argument. Oh, you don't trust the court ruling, but you're going back for re-argument. So they want to plunge the country into different things. One thing, the law in every country that developed around the world, it is the law. Every developed country around the world, it is the law. Once you try to bend the law of the country, that country will not develop, and that's what the people are trying to do. So let the law be the law.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, let the Lord be the Lord. The Lord is the Lord. Also, just 1 minute to go. Let's see whether we could take one more call and call it a day right here on this platform at the Local Dailies. In a petition for reargument filed on Friday. According members of the majority bloc charge the court not only erred in stripping them of legislative authority, but knowing they benefited from the very budget they have now declared illegal. Interesting. This is the Local Daily. Quickly, yeah, it's already time. Thanks to all of you who call. Thanks to all of you who follow us on Facebook, all of our social media handles, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Just click Kear Radio. Kear is Kear. Do join me on tomorrow, 10:30 to 11:30, for another edition of the program, The Local Dailies. Until then, that's how we wind down the curtains on today's edition. My name is Princess Kamara. Do join me tomorrow. And do have a blessed Monday. Bye-bye from my end.